And I'm always shocked by how many events that they do. They do a lot. They do courses on podcasting. I'm like, should I show up and see what's going on? But no, I haven't done
You're going to be the well, actually guy in the back.
Like,
well, actually.
So I'm kind of a big deal.
You should be using the condenser microphone. Welcome to Millennial, the home of pretend adulting and real talk. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
And I wanted to update everybody. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about signing up for this service called Function. I got my blood drawn twice to get 100 biomarkers that show all kinds of things about my health. And to Laura's surprise, a couple of weeks ago, I had never done blood work before. I just haven't. And all my results came in. And one thing I was really looking forward to was getting my biological age back. My friend who had done this, he's 37, and his age came back as 30.5 years old. So that's good, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally got mine back over the weekend. Do y'all want to guess what my biological age is? I'm 36.
Okay. I feel like this could be...
I feel like this is a trick question.
It feels like a trick question.
Yeah.
You know what
How
I'm going to
old
say?
was your friend? 27?
37.
No. What was his biological age?
Oh, 30.
30. Okay.
I feel like you have an active lifestyle. You take care of yourself. I feel like you're probably, let's say 31.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go a little lower. I'll say 29 because I feel like he's setting us up for like a big reveal.
Well, you are right. I was thrilled to learn that my biological age was 23.7 years old.
Whoa.
I know.
You don't even need that Botox.
I'm a twink.
23 is the baby.
I know.
I am a twink. I was thrilled by this. But I do credit, I think, Laura, you mentioned the active lifestyle. I credit all the hiking, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
Yeah.
And I eat like relatively healthy, but that was a very pleasant surprise to me. So I'm over the moon about this. I've been waiting to post it on Instagram until I revealed it here on the pod. But I recommended this a couple of weeks ago. I'd recommend it to anybody who's been needing some blood work. Well, it's been a crazy week already in politics. We're recording on Tuesday night. Some Epstein files emails, I guess I should say, came out last week. Turns out Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's dick, which seems to be the new J.D. Vance fucks couches.
Yeah.
So that was a fun surprise.
Guess so. I really love that a whole new generation of people are going to learn about the terminology of like blowjobs and what that means in connection to Bill Clinton. It really feels like time is a flat circle because, of course, we were all children when the first Clinton scandal, the first sex scandal with Clinton happened, I guess. Yeah. And I remember hearing a whole lot of terminology spoken very like plainly on the news. As people were talking about that. So I feel like, the kids today, they're getting the 1990s experience.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Plus, I feel like there used to be more salacious tabloids by the supermarket checkout stands.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't escape. I feel like you don't see those as much anymore because a lot of print is dead. But I feel like every like National Enquirer adjacent publication had "I did not have sex with that woman" in like bold letters. And unfortunately for impressionable minds, those are very easy words to read, even if you don't understand them. So
yeah. Well, the memes were memeing so hard last week.
God.
I was living.
It was so funny.
I couldn't heart all of them fast
Gavin
enough.
Newsom's social media team continues to troll, which is insane.
Yes. Yeah.
So good.
So that was one of the big things that everybody was having a laugh over last week. But like I said, we are recording Tuesday, and the House voted to release the Epstein files. This was part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. All but one House member, Clay Higgins, a Republican, of course, voted to release these files. And then the even bigger surprise today is that the Epstein Files Transparency Act already passed the Senate, too. I was watching the House votes earlier today, and House Republicans were talking about, when this gets to the Senate, we need to redact innocent people, this and that. Think of the doormen who were mentioned. Think of delivery drivers, all these like random people. That didn't happen. And that was really surprising. So now this heads to President Trump's desk. And I want to quote the New York Times because they were just as surprised as I was. It was pretty remarkable for the Republican majority in the Senate to agree to the Democratic leader's maneuver, that would be Schumer, to automatically pass the Epstein bill. Typically, the Senate's majority would not want to see the action dictated by the minority. That the move worked underscored how much Republicans want to be rid of the issue, and quickly. The approach also avoids a recorded vote. So that's convenient for Republicans.
Yeah. I just can't wait to see how Democrats are going to fuck it up. Because in the last couple of weeks we've watched this, like Democrats had a sweeping win on election day. And then like a week later, 8 rogue Democrats, allegedly, I don't believe it. I think Schumer was behind that. But the fact that they came out and reopened the government without any real assurances for healthcare was just like the biggest cell phone. So yeah, I can't wait to see how they're going to fuck this up next. That's what I've come to expect.
It's kind of crazy that we're finally at this moment. The Epstein files are going to be released. Trump said he is going to sign this. At least the last we heard.
Yeah, that's what he's saying now. I just I don't mean to sound like cynical. Does anyone think it's going to matter?
Well, I don't know, because between like the only reason I feel like something good might come of it is because I think it's pretty fishy that they voluntarily had Prince Andrew rescind all his given titles before this, and that leaked. And so I kind of feel like if anybody's going to get inside information as to whether or not this is like close to being like unleashed to the public, it would be the, what do they call it? The firm at the royal family.
Yeah.
So that like, but whether or not it will actually like make a difference, like that's a completely different thing. Like, will there be crazy stuff? Like, I feel like that's a good indicator that yes.
So I'm cautious. I don't want to get too excited as it pertains to Trump, because this could be another Russia moment. We've been through this before. But him aside, there's going to be some bombshells about other people. And I think more importantly, the victims want all this information out.
Absolutely.
As well. So a lot of people are glad that this information will finally be out there. But yeah, I do think we need to be cautious as it concerns Trump. I have a hard time understanding if he knows he's guilty of something. Maybe there's video or photo. That would be really, really bad. Why would he then say, I want these released? I know he wants to get it behind him, because that seems incredibly risky.
Maybe they're just banking on the fact that his core fan base won't care, kind of like they don't really care that
grab him by the
about
pussy.
Like the impeachment trial or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Calling a journalist a pig last night on Air Force One.
Yeah. I also just like what we already know out of the Epstein files is bad enough and has been highly publicized. So I'm sure whatever we're going to get is going to be equally as bad, if not worse. But I guess I just wonder if the public has been so like desensitized to all of the craziness that's happened over the last decade. Honestly, ever since his ass came down that fucking escalator.
Ugh.
I wish I had confidence that it was actually going to do something. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope to be wrong about that, because it should lead to something.
Yeah. And then the other question is, if there is some damning info in these files, what is he going to do to distract us? Is he going to enter a war? Is he going to knock down the West Wing now, too? Is he going to implode the whole White House? Like,
yeah, what else is he going to blast aside from Phantom of the Opera this Sunday?
Yeah, so we will see. We will see when Trump signs this. We will see when this all is going to be released. But it's going to be a very interesting week. If the past week has been any indication.
All right, before we get into our main discussion, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Thanks to recent patrons, including Karina, Lisa, and Garishma. Enjoy all of the gossip behind the scenes in After Dark.
We have tons of great perks at patreon.com/millennial, and it is the holiday shopping season, so we are offering one of our best deals of the year. Now until December 18th, get an annual membership to our Patreon for 20% off. That locks you into a year of content from your pals, and you'll be helping us run this show through 2026, which we really appreciate. This offer is open to new and previous patrons. You can also gift memberships, by the way. Don't forget about that. So add it to your wish list if you'd like. Your loved one can visit the Patreon, and there's a gifting option as you go through checkout. Alternatively, you can just send them to patreon.com/millennial/gift. What's coming up in After Dark this week, Laura?
So you want to know something crazy? I feel like for the last 15 years, we've been so used to hearing about all the industries that millennials are killing. But for once, there's an industry that I think we are buoying, if you will, and that would be the cruise industry. So we're actually going to talk about some data that came from the Financial Times, as well as some cruise line specific information that came from National Geographic around the way that cruise ships and like the cruising industry is changing and updating to try and attract more people our age. And we're also going to talk about some of the unhinged things that they've been trying to do. Apparently one of them, and Andrew, I'm going to ask you about this because it's a cruise line I know you've been on recently. They tried for a while, including 22, I think it was in pounds as in the currency, sex toys in each of the cabins on their adults-only cruises.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Where was that? In my room. I want a refund.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the other party favors that we might be interested in having in our cruise ship hotel rooms. So
a cruise can be a good bang for your buck, and we're going to be talking about great bangs for your buck in terms of activities a little later.
Great bang for your buck, especially if you use the sex toys.
Well, After Dark and much more is available over on our Patreon if you subscribe over there. But even if you don't, there are other ways to help us out. If you want to wear your love, you can visit shop.millennialshow.com to grab official show gear. We'd also appreciate it if you told a fellow millennial about the show, and make sure you're following us in your favorite podcast app.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the best bangs for your buck. We'll be right back. So as we get into a busy spending season, we thought it'd be fun to look at the best bangs for your buck when it comes to planning activities. We've previously talked about things you can buy that you'll get a lot of use out of. We've talked about this through the lens of like cost versus time. So i.e. a $60 video game might get you 100 hours of entertainment. That's a great bang for your buck. Or we've talked about it through how spending a lot on a product might be a little scary, but the product will last forever, like really good cookware. So this time we're going to talk about enriching your life for less. But first of all, I can't believe Black Friday has already started. It seems like it starts earlier and earlier every year. I was like last week, I was like, wait, what? We're already doing this?
And they're going heavy on the ads too.
They are. I was shocked. I was shopping for something not Black Friday related, and I saw on their website they were already doing their Black Friday deals, and I was like, well, this timing works out really well. But
yeah, it's like all of November now. Living here in the desert, you definitely see lots of holiday decor. We've already got our Christmas stuff up, by the way, which is the earliest ever for us. But for me, what really makes it feel like the holidays is when you actually see the holiday commercials on TV and hear all that music. I was at the outlet malls over the weekend too. Every store is already playing Christmas music.
Yep. Starbucks has their drink menu out. People are fighting over holiday themed cups. So 'tis the season indeed.
That teddy bear glass one.
Yeah, the teddy bear, the one that looks like the honey bottle.
Yeah, it's cute, but it's not like fight worthy in my opinion.
It's not like I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. And throw hands.
Yeah. So first of all, let's look at activities that don't have time limits, because that could be a good bang for your buck. And what inspired this portion of the show is there is a place here and in several other states in America called Pop Stroke. It's a mini golf course, 2 mini golf courses owned by Tiger Woods. What shocked me, Pat and I went last year, was that you can show up right at opening or whatever time of day. And it's $35 currently for a day pass. And you can play the 2 18-hole courses as many times as you want throughout the day. And that really surprised me because I've gone to mini golf courses and it's one and done. Like you go through everything once and then bye, you're not welcome back. Put the ball into this hole-in-one mini game and you're not going to see the ball again. So that to me is a really good deal that you could spend all day at 2 18-hole mini golf courses and play them as much as you want.
Yeah, well, they're probably banking on the fact that most people won't.
Mhm.
So it's a really good way to get people in the door and make them feel like they got a good deal, even if they don't spend the whole
Yeah.
day doing it. It's smart.
They also do sell
Yeah.
food and alcohol too, so I think that's part of the strategy as
Yeah.
well.
Kind of reminds me of too, like I don't know if you all are familiar with Korean day spas. They have them all over in LA and in a bunch of other cities, but usually it's a flat fee to go in, and that includes access to the saunas and the cool rooms and the pools and stuff like that. And then where they probably make their most money is tacking on the extra fees for added services. So like massages, facials, things like that. Usually
Yeah.
they have restaurants inside as well so that you can literally spend the whole day there.
Mhm. That's a good point. Like a lot of hotels, I'm thinking here in Vegas and on the Strip, you can probably buy day passes to spas and you'll get some
Yeah.
of the basic amenities, but then for some of the other
Mhm.
stuff, you got to upgrade.
Yeah, the Korean day spas though, they're pretty. I mean, if you're talking about bang for your buck, one of my friends just did that for her bachelorette party, and it was I think it was under $60 for the entry fee.
Korean
Wow.
spas are amazing
Yeah,
because a lot of
and the
I don't
services were not poorly priced either.
right. And I think a lot of them, like, I know there's a couple not too far from me that are like 24 hours. So you can go, you could
Mm-hmm.
literally just go be there overnight.
Yes.
There's like a flat entry fee to go in. Things like the saunas and the pools and the baths and everything are like all free reign. Like you can do those. If you want to get massages and stuff, that's an upgrade. But what they do at one of them is they give you like a wristband so you're not having to carry around a credit card with you. And they have like a cafeteria where you can walk in and like get food and stuff while you're there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice, but it is easy to like rack up a bill if you're not
Yeah.
paying attention. So,
Yeah, definitely. So, something else to bring up, no matter where you live, keep an eye out for free museum days. I know, again, here in Vegas, there's two museums in particular that offer free museum days, including the Mob Museum. Laura, I feel like you would like that one. Some good
oh yeah,
crime.
my mom went there. She told me it was awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't been to the museum part, but I've been to the bar portion of it because it's set up like a speakeasy. It's pretty cool. But yeah, keep an eye out for free museum days because they do them annually, it seems like. And also, parks, national parks, state parks typically have free park days, normally on holidays. I know national parks have several free days per year. And also, a good hack for the national parks in particular is if you enter the gates early enough, there's not somebody working there. These parks are 24 hours because there's people camping, so they got to keep the gates open. But the gates themselves are typically staffed starting at like 7 a.m. So early bird Andrew will show up at like 6 or 6:59 to beat the. I mean, I have a national park pass anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I like getting there early to beat the rush. So you can get into the
Yeah.
national parks
I,
free that
I
way.
also just really quick, you kind of went through these pretty fast, but I
Oh,
wanted to
sorry.
circle back to, no, that's okay. Museums, but because in addition to the free days, your local library might have passes that you could get for free anytime. And then also for anybody that is on EBT, a lot of times they'll do up to a family of 4 for a really, really reasonable discount or free entry. So check on your EBT benefits as well, because especially for educational stuff, they do try to make it really affordable for families to still go out and experience culture and stuff like that. And it's the same for zoos and anything of that nature.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great
Yeah.
call.
Also wanted to call out, Andrew, didn't you mention on the show a few months ago that for national parks in the US, you can get a free annual pass if you have a disability? And
Yes.
I mean, ADHD is a disability. I like there are various like mental health conditions that are disabilities. So what I'm saying is like you don't have to think of disability as just like a physical disability. There are like probably lots of reasons that someone could qualify for that if you
Yeah.
if you want that access. The other thing I would call out too is a lot of movie theaters, and I know Pam knows this because she's an early bird going to the movies, but a lot of movie theaters will do cheaper like pre-matinees. We used to do that a lot when me and my brother were kids.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer when it was hot and we wanted to like go somewhere that was air conditioned. And cheap. So
Yeah. A lot of times the re-releases are cheaper too. Like I went to see Pride and Prejudice for the re-release on the big screen, and I think my ticket was $7.
Wow.
So like if there's a movie that you really love, obviously they always do the Potter marathons. I know they've done the Hunger Games before. Sometimes they have a classic movie like a season, that your local theater is doing. That might be a really easy way to go to the movies without spending, like right now, I think like the cheapest, even as early as I go, that I've seen is like $14 in my area. So it's getting pricey.
I also see movie theaters do like $5 movie days, and it's typically on a weekday, so Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm looking at AMC theaters right now. They do 50% off tickets Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You just have to be a free AMC Stubs member. So I know seeing a movie on a weeknight isn't the easiest for people, but if you're willing to, that's a great way to see a movie for cheaper. And plus, the theater's probably going to be pretty empty, and that tends to be a benefit these days with how addicted people are to their phones. One other thing I wanted to touch on, and I didn't know this, it just popped in my brain, so I decided to Google it. If you go on Google Maps and you search free activities in Vegas, Atlanta, San Francisco, whatever, it gives you a really nice list of genuinely free activities. Yeah, I did not.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. And looking through the Vegas list, they are all definitely free.
Anything cool you might want to check out, or you're thinking might be worth looking?
I'm a 5-year local now, so I feel like
okay, so you've done all this stuff.
Yeah, or it's stuff I don't really care about. I mean, like going to the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign. Okay, that's good for a first-time tourist. Or the Bellagio Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. There's an aquarium at a casino. Like, yeah, there's some good stuff here.
Yeah, I'm looking
museums,
for Atlanta.
haven't been to the museums. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fernbank Science Center, like classic throwback for everyone's like grade school field trips. I know a lot of us went there, but like lots of nature preserves. And just like they're calling out specifically parks that are good for picnics. So yeah, there are they have library events and art walks.
Yeah.
So yeah, good ideas.
I was going to say too, like there's so many ways to kind of like get creative and spruce that stuff up, even if you've already been there. Like I love playing tourist in my city. You could do like if you have like a friend that's also into photography, you could do that and just make it a photo walk for yourselves. There's a trend that was going on a while ago where like people would go on photo walks and they would pick a color. And so like every photo they took had to have that color. So I think there's a lot of creative ways to make it a little bit more exciting for yourself, even if you've already been to those places.
Definitely. Especially if you're going with somebody new who hasn't been. I mean, that makes things exciting too.
Yeah,
like for me,
so true.
Going with my nephews to Disney World, the whole thrill of it for me was just seeing it through their eyes for the first time. One strategy I like to take for cheaper nights out or just cheaper days out is just sort of hacking my way into making it cheaper. And I mainly think of this through sneaking snacks and drinks into places. First of all, flasks that don't look like a flask are an excellent way to do this if you want to bring drinks to the pool. If you go on Amazon, you can find these fake flasks that look like suntan lotion bottles or an iPhone battery charger. We have both of those here.
Yeah.
Or just a reusable water bottle. They don't check this stuff.
I was going to say some of that stuff can be good for like going into sporting events. Right? Like if you have just a regular bottle of suntan lotion, they're not as apt to scrutinize that too closely.
Definitely. And a sporting event is typically going to be outside. So, you're bringing suntan lotion into the baseball stadium? That definitely makes sense.
Right.
Go right ahead, sir.
That way you save yourself the $20 beers that you would have to buy otherwise,
That's so true.
Or you load it with vodka and then you just buy a Coke at the concession stand and you just pour it in yourself. I love doing that. Movie theaters are a great place to do this. I will
Yeah.
usually bring a flask to the movie
How do
theater.
you, okay, as a guy, I don't think you're a tote bag carrier, how do you sneak in your contraband? Because the bad thing about being a girl is that you got to sneak in your own stuff. And then if you're with a guy, they're going to hand everything to you and assume you brought a purse big enough to smuggle their shit into.
Tell them to F off if any man asks you to do that. I haven't brought in food, I don't think. I think there have been a couple times where I like keep tacos in my pockets.
Tacos in your pockets. Okay.
Yeah,
Everyone
some Del
loves
Taco
a pocket
tacos.
taco.
Yeah, stays warm, lukewarm in my pocket. But yeah, I'll just bring a
Yum.
flask in, and obviously
Okay,
that
just the
fits
flask
easily.
is enough for you. You don't need
Yeah.
any snacks at the movies. Okay.
What are y'all's strategies?
A big ass purse.
Big ass
and
purse.
I've gotten so
Yeah.
good at balancing my coffee in there too. Because I
Oh,
like to go to the
wow.
early bird. Yeah.
Oh, you don't just put it in like some sort of reusable, lockable bottle?
I try, if I remember to grab one, I will. But if not, I'm just going through like the Dunkin' drive-through. There's a Dunkin' on the way to one of the movie theaters I like. Then no, I'll just get the Dunkin' coffee and balance it in my bag.
You know what
Wow.
I've done before on that front, Pam? Like when I walked in with an open, like a just Starbucks or Dunkin' or whatever, a cup of coffee. And I couldn't really put it in my purse because it was already too full with other stuff. So I was wearing a sweater. I took the sweater off, hung the sweater over the arm that I was like holding the coffee in and like had the sweater draped over the coffee. So
Yeah,
that's
I've
another
done
way
that
that you
before,
can
too.
get in. Yeah.
That's slick.
I
love
also,
that.
I'm going to read this text out loud because I just got it from my friend who's listening live. She says, your brother is the number one guy in my life that is like, hey, can you put this in your purse? He got worried once when I converted to a really small purse once. Personal responsibility to any man listening. You can't just expect
Seriously.
women to always carry big purses.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
I
for weighing in, Pam's friend.
Yeah.
shout out to Yuki. She's a real one.
It's Yuki. Hi,
It's
Yuki.
Hey, Yuki.
We love you.
I have a little crossbody bag too, so I've put the flask in there a couple times,
Oh, that's
which
good.
is also
See,
good because I'll
personal
tuck the phone
responsibility. We
away.
appreciate that. You're pulling
Yeah.
your weight.
That can't fit my
I would
tacos.
smuggle your snack in my purse because you're smuggling the alcohol.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think, and with all due respect to the people working in these movie theaters, they're not paid enough to care if you're sneaking stuff in, right?
No, I don't
No.
think they care.
This is a-
They just have the scary signs out that are like,
yeah.
no food allowed. We will search your bags. But I
Oh.
will say that after some of the we had a couple of major shootings in movie theaters. That's like the last time I saw them actually
Mm,
searching bags. But
that would be reasonable if that was the excuse, but even still, I
Yeah.
doubt they'd complain.
no.
Yeah, because then you could make up excuses like, I have my medication in this flask. I medicate
I've
with
had
alcohol.
friends that will say that for like water because there are some places that I think it's so dumb because most people are carrying reusable water bottles, especially in a city like San Francisco where they encourage you to do that. It's like I'm so frustrated by the number of venues that will not let you bring in your own bottled water because they want you to pay when you get inside. But I've definitely had friends say like I need to have water on me because I'm on medication, and sometimes they will budge. So that's
Yeah.
a fair point.
This could be a great way to save money at theme parks too. I am scared to bring in alcohol, but specifically food. It shocks
Mhm.
me that Disney, Universal, or even going on an airplane, they let you bring on your own food. In this age of
Didn't
capitalism.
used to.
Oh, really?
Disneyland did not used to. Yeah, I remember we used to.
Really?
My mom used to sneak in snacks for us when like in the 90s.
Mm.
But yeah, now they do let you, and I think that's great.
And it must partly have to do with if you are bringing kids into the park, they might need certain food. You want to keep them
Mhm.
on a certain diet. So that's totally understandable. But they're always looking for ways to squeeze more money out of you. So it is kind of shocking that in 2025, they still don't care if you bring in your own food. Let's turn to just shopping. Pam and I were chatting about this last week, and one nice thing about going shopping is that you don't actually have to buy anything. It's just fun to walk around and see what's in like an antique store or outlet malls, a used bookstore. I love
Mhm.
browsing used
Or
bookstores.
like a record store, like anything that's like new and used. I could be in there for hours.
Yeah, just discovering things you never would have seen otherwise.
Yeah. Are you a window shopper, Laura? Because I was telling Andrew when we were talking about this that I have a lot of friends that are like, why would I go shopping if I'm not going to leave with anything or I'm not going to buy anything? But to me, sometimes it's like the thrill of the hunt, not necessarily that I need to leave every store with something.
You know, I don't think that I have to buy something just because I go somewhere. But I will also admit I'm not really that into shopping unless it's for a purpose. So if I know that I'm looking for something specific, I'm all about it. Like if I'm going clothes shopping for myself and I know what items I'm looking for, great. I don't want to just go browse though.
That's
like
fair.
that doesn't really interest me personally. A lot of people love that. It drives my mother crazy because she does like to take her time and browse. And I'm the kind of person who, when I go into Costco, I'm there with a list and I'm getting what I'm getting what I have on the list and I'm out. And my mom, if we go together, because we will like sometimes like split some of the stuff between our households. She'll be like wanting to like browse because they have cool stuff at Costco. I get it. But then I'm the one hurrying her along being like, okay, Mama T, let's go.
That's fair. Depending on what you're there for, sometimes in and out is best.
Yeah.
So I get your point. But yeah, like if it's like any kind of like trinket store, like a used store, like I don't mind perusing. But I also like, I know there are other people that don't, so I prefer to go to those places by myself or with somebody that enjoys the thrill of the hunt.
I
so to
agree.
speak.
Like
Yeah.
I know I had shared with you, Pam, that I like was looking at a couple of just art galleries recently because I was looking for just like a couple of things to catch my eye. And so like that is a perfect scenario where like, yes, I love going in and browsing, but it's because there's a specific need in mind.
Yeah, that's fair.
Laura, you do some digital thrifting, though? I almost said digital shoplifting. You don't do that.
Didn't we talk about tips for digital shoplifting
We
on the
did.
show previously, though?
Oh,
Yep.
Lord.
So yeah, I actually haven't bought from here in a while, but threadup.com is actually, it's an online thrift store where you can get a lot of like really nice, gently used brand name things. And I think what's really cool about it is you can both buy from them, but you can also sell to them. So if you have items that you would otherwise be donating, they will potentially buy them from you. I'm sure it's not for very much. But still, I think it's kind of cool because it's just another way that you can, cut down on your own footprint and not contribute as much to fast fashion as I know we all have to. Like it's, you do the best that you can. But I feel like ThreadUp is a really great way of thrifting if you don't actually want to go thrifting. If you're like me.
Yeah. From the comfort of your couch.
Yeah. I just want to stay home.
That's
fair.
Reminds me of the
Nothing wrong with
Facebook
that.
Marketplace. That's one good thing about
Yeah.
Facebook these days. There's a lot of good used stuff on there. I like browsing it for fun. I feel like I'm browsing a virtual garage sale. And the great thing for Facebook Marketplace, and there's got to be some other free ones. I'm thinking like Craigslist, but I don't know if anybody uses that anymore.
Are either of you on the buy nothing groups in your area?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I am too. And there's some good stuff. Like we're not ready to redo the yard, but I have noticed that every once in a while people like people that are in construction or in landscaping will have extra gravel. And it's like, do you know how expensive gravel and pebbles are to buy by the pound?
Yeah.
Or like
But-
any of that stuff? It's like, okay, like this is good to know.
And the nice thing as a seller is that you're avoiding getting hit with fees. Like if you sell something through eBay, in some cases it's safer to sell things through eBay, particularly high value items. But in other cases, you could save a significant amount of money or get more by selling through Facebook Marketplace because there's no fees involved. So let's look to learning as like a fun activity. I mean, you could do this by yourself or you could do it with a partner. We've mentioned libraries lots and we will more today. But I also want to remind everybody that YouTube has endless classes to take and a lot of them are really, really good. There's online courses through Udemy. There's many free options there. Pam, you told me that Harvard has free classes.
Yeah, they do. And it's actually quite a few. And obviously, you can take the class for free. I think where they make their money, some of them are like weeks long too. So it's not just like, oh, I sat in an online webinar for an hour. You can pay to get yourself a little certificate that says you took a Harvard class online for like
Ooh.
$50. So that might be a fun little incentive for you if you want to brag that you took a class through Harvard. But yeah, I think that it's really cool that they do offer free classes. I'm sure they're not the only university that does. It's just that they get a lot of hype for doing it because it's Harvard.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the government, like they have a government class that's really well rated and stuff like that too. So if you want to brush up on your rights, which is always smart to do, but probably
Good
especially
timing.
smart this day and age, yeah, you can go take a class at Harvard that'll teach you what you need to know.
They have a class 6 weeks long, 2 to 3 hours per week commitment on managing happiness. Happiness is within your control. Write your own ending. That's
really
pretty
nice.
cool.
I
Yeah,
actually
and it's
really
all
like
online for
that.
people like Laura that don't want to leave the house.
I know, it's perfect.
She can thrift and manage her happiness at the same time.
All in the comfort of my own home.
Also, I wanted to remind everybody about little lending libraries. You've probably seen them around town. They just make me happy every time I see them. But what I want to specifically call out is if you go to littlefreelibrary.org/map, you can find all of the little free libraries in your area. So what could be a fun day maybe is you just like find all of them, put them down in a Google Maps list, and just spend the day checking out all the little free libraries. I think that could be really cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
is
actually, you know
cool.
what? That is a good point because it's sometimes it's really hard to donate your books. But if you have
Yeah.
like good books, and I'm talking about things that you actually think that like kids and adults and teens would want to read, dispersing them amongst these little free libraries is not a bad way to go about donating them, especially if they're in good condition. And a lot of these, like, they operate under like leave one, take one. So if you see something that you want to read, then you get a free new book. And you've donated a couple others for other people to enjoy.
I also really like the idea of just leaving one in there and knowing that it remains in your community, that one of your
Yeah.
neighbors is reading it.
I agree. Also, jumping back to free courses, Coursera is another resource you can use. They have some courses that are paid on there, but they have a lot that are free. And they're through various universities all over the world. Like, God, probably 8 years ago at this point, I took an Egyptology class out of the University of Barcelona just because it sounded really interesting.
That sounds really cool.
It was really, and also I like wanted the Spanish practice. So, yeah, taking an Egyptology class, like, definitely challenged me on that front because I was just like, what? Como? All the time. But
Como?
it was really, really good.
Yeah. So let's look at some social activities. First of all, I've brought this up before, but meetup.com is a great place to find free activities in your town. And most of them do end up being free. There's some dinner club types of events. So obviously you'd have to pay for food, but a lot of them are like trivia nights or hiking or reading groups, study groups, that type of thing. So I would just go there for really an endless number of free activities. And it's also a great opportunity to meet people. Also, just want to remind everybody, don't sleep on Groupon. And this is a note to myself. I sleep on Groupon. But especially
Yeah,
right
that's a
now, they
good
have additional
point.
Black Friday deals.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point because I think that, like, you're right. Like, things like Groupon were really big for a minute, and we haven't really heard very much about them lately. But
No.
Yeah.
they have good, even if you're just trying to like treat yourself, you
Yeah.
can get good deals on massages, facials, manicures, pedicures.
Or something for your pet. Now, of course, do your research,
Mhm.
make sure they're on the up and up and all that. But I have a friend who books teeth cleanings through Groupon for his dogs, and he's had a really good experience.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I was going to say too, a lot of places will have intro offers for things.
Mm,
Pam, you mentioning massages made me think of this, but like, especially if you go to a place that's like a franchise, a lot of times, like your first massage, they'll have it like 30% off or something.
Yeah.
And now, granted, don't go back and pay full price after that, but take advantage of the intro deal to like treat yourself in a fun way. So,
yeah.
That's really good advice too.
Also, just want to remind everybody, and really been high on this idea over the last year or so, board and card games, and I think this was your part, Pam, craft nights. Card games
Yeah.
are so cheap. You can buy great card games that'll get you hours and hours of entertainment, laughs, just a good night with friends for like $8. A game I'm into right now is Flip 7, and I think I recommended it a few weeks ago. I brought it to Orlando to play with the nephews. They absolutely loved it. It's a press your luck type of card game. These games are just so cheap online and in stores. I actually thought like Amazon would be noticeably cheaper than in stores, but no, they're about the same price if you don't want to support
Good to
Amazon.
know.
But speaking of socializing with others, do y'all have strategies for keeping the cost down when hosting people? I'm thinking like charcuterie boards are kind of a fun way. Make your own charcuterie boards, I mean, are a fun way to keep costs down and kind of delight people. Or take and bake frozen pizzas. And the reason I say that one is because I think the take and bake pizza game has gotten really good over the last 5 to 10 years.
yeah.
Like, we've all heard of DiGiorno, but there's a lot of other great brands out there that are like really, really good.
Yeah. You could also make that like an easy activity. I think I've talked before about how I'm a big fan of the Trader Joe's pizza dough that you can get for like under
Oh,
$2. But you could easily I think like one package would easily make 2 personal sized pizzas. So if you have a couple of friends coming over and, you can just put a bunch of toppings out and everybody can pick their toppings and you can bake them and everyone gets their own little personal pizza. I think that would be a really fun activity to go
yeah.
along with like a
Yeah.
movie night or something like that.
Yeah, you could do that or a taco bar or
Yeah.
Ooh.
something I like to do as well. I'm a big fan of the Instapot just because
Mm.
Mm,
you just throw stuff in it, close it, turn it
yeah.
on, and it does it for you. Especially this time of year when it's like soup season. If you want to make like a really like hearty soup
Or
or
like
like
a
a
chili.
stew, yeah, that's always a
Mhm.
crowd pleaser.
Yeah. I think, Andrew, you mentioned charcuterie. I also wanted to call out that most Whole Foods will have like a clearance cheese basket, which sounds kind of weird. It's always in their cheese section. But basically what happens is like they're cutting up the big blocks of cheese into different portions for people to buy, right? But then they'll inevitably get to the end and it's like too small of a piece to sell on its own. So they'll just sell it at the whatever the price is for the cheese, but you can get like a bunch of small fancier cheeses for $5 a pop instead of paying $10 for like a larger portion. And so that's a really easy way to put together a cheap, fancier looking cheese board if you want to do something fun.
That's a really cool idea. I had no idea that they did that. But also with Thanksgiving coming up, a potluck type of dinner is really fun to
Yeah.
me. Like
We've
just
been trying
asking
to do that
everybody.
more and more.
Yeah. That's a great way to keep costs down because everybody's bringing something over. And then obviously you just tell them, bring over any drink you might want to enjoy as well.
Yeah. We've been doing like batch cocktails every year for Christmas specifically too, because
Mm.
that keeps the cost down instead of having to buy like a bunch of beer or a bunch of bottles. If you pre-mix it and you put it in, like a fancier container, like sangria is a really easy way to do anything like that's a little bit sweet so you can use cheaper alcohol is a really easy way to keep the cost down and keep people's cups full
Yeah.
too.
Y'all, my mom at the holidays every year, she has gotten into making this Earl Grey bourbon punch.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
My God, it is so good and it'll fuck you up. So be careful.
Damn. I gotta go hang out with Mama T between that and her limoncello.
Honestly, she's a lot of fun. You would love it.
Plus, she likes coming to Vegas to go see you too and go to
I
the
know.
Mod
And
Downton
Museum
Abbey.
and Downton
Yeah.
Abbey.
She's
She's a party.
She's an extrovert. I'm not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what happened to you, Laura? Why aren't you like her?
I don't know.
Is your dad an
That's a good
introvert?
question for therapy.
Yeah, no, he totally is an
Oh,
introvert.
there you
I'm
go.
definitely temperamentally, I'm a lot like my dad. But yeah, it's probably why me and my mom get along so well. I get along with my dad too, but like me and my mom, it's one of those like sometimes opposites like meld
Yeah.
together thing. Yeah.
Yeah. She's bringing all the fun. So you just have to sit
She
near
is
the
the
couch.
party. She's one of these like she'll talk to anyone. Like
Mhm.
she's just like she's very like outgoing and affable, and I'm over here like I want to be at home.
Look at this cool thing I found on Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly.
And then lastly, before we get to responses from our pals, online hangouts. This is another one I could work on myself. I mean, I guess we online hang out every week doing the podcast, but there's some really good tools, and I think a lot of them came up during the pandemic to watch things together and your streams will stay in sync. Like, doesn't HBO or Netflix have a feature like that? Watch party or something
Watch
like that?
party, yeah. You can do it on Discord these days too.
Yeah. And there's so many online games you can play too, which we've done from
That's
time
the
to time.
thing. Like I know we've talked about this before, but there are so many like cozy co-op games that you can play with friends. I think a game I brought up before was golf with friends. It's basically like you're on a mini golf course, except it's very extra, and you can do all kinds of crazy things in there. But it's just a very easy game to like talk to your friends and play. It doesn't require a ton of focus. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's really cheap in the Steam store. They have so many games like that that are under $5. So definitely
Nice.
check that out. Also, check out the Steam sale. By the way, Steam sale happens a couple times a year. They heavily mark down those games. So
Yeah, and you can favorite games, and then it'll notify you when these games do go on sale. So let's get to submissions from the pals. What's the best bang for your buck when it comes to activities? Low cost, high reward, or high amount of time spent with said activity. So you could spend lots of time with it for a low cost. First of all, Brandy said, my city has free events throughout the year. I know one this year is at a local museum. In the past, there was also a city night at the ice rink. That's cool. Follow your city newsletter and whatnot for notifications about those types of events.
Nicole says, definitely looking for Black Friday deals for memberships or outings in your area. We're taking the kids to Sesame Place in Philly this weekend because tickets were on super sale, basically, and much more affordable. Our local zoo tends to have great annual membership deals every year too. Then I think about things like travel with friends or family. If you get a big group together, something like an Airbnb can actually be a lot more affordable split across everyone. And some places have large group discounts too. Additionally, if you can go out during the week, some places have good weekday/night discounts. Our local movie theater has $5 Tuesdays.
First of all, when I was in Orlando, I was splitting a Airbnb home with the family. And yeah, the price was great when you're splitting it between like 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
The only problem is I miss the benefits of a hotel. Like you come back from a long day in the park and your room is nice and fresh, but that's a whole other discussion. I do want to say Nicole brought up taking advantage of weekday or weeknight discounts. What I've noticed is that bars and restaurants need to get a lot better at advertising their happy hours. I'm looking around for happy hours all the time, but I really have to dig to find that information. I don't know why they aren't more vocal about these. Me and a few other friends here have a shared Apple Note where we write down all the best happy hours, and that's been really helpful. But it's like, why do I have to dig for this information? And then you go to some of these happy hours and they're empty. And it's like, if you were to advertise this, you'd get actually a lot of people showing up.
It's almost like they don't want you to go.
Yeah, but then don't do the happy hour. I don't know. It's weird to me.
No, I do that a lot too. And it's like you really have to dig. Sometimes I'll just search happy hour into Yelp, like into like after I'm at a restaurant or a bar that I'm looking at, like I'll put happy hour into the search function for the comments and the reviews just to see if something recent pops up, because it's like, well, I just want to know, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of weird that you're right. They tend to be hidden. I would say like to that effect, like just in terms of like bar stuff in general, like If you have friends that are into trivia, I think trivia nights are really cheap, like easy entertainment. And if you happen to be good and you win, you could get your whole tab basically paid off because usually they give you like a gift card to the place. So we will keep the tab open until the very end, just in case we win when we've gone.
I'm glad you bring that up because Pat, myself, and a friend did a trivia night a few weeks ago, and we won a free dessert for coming in second to last place.
Oh my gosh.
They
Love
don't
that.
award the free dessert to last place because then you just don't play and you end up with 0 points. So
Right.
they do second to
gotta
last.
try
And we
second
won
to last.
second to last.
It's a nice consolation prize.
Yeah, no complaints. Free dessert. We got a Pizookie. It's very good.
Sarah F. says, one of my hobbies is dancing, and in particular, the East Coast swing, Lindy Hop, blues dance scenes typically have a night with lessons and a social dance for $10 or $15. So sometimes they include a live blues or jazz band, so live music, dance lesson, and social dancing for under $20. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get moving. Elizabeth said, I have one I think fellow listener Laura M. will like. Who needs Broadway? Attend a community theater or a school theater production. I love that idea because it's so much cheaper. And it's really entertaining to see your local townspeople performing.
And if you're paying for a school production, you're giving back to the community. You're giving back to that school. So that's nice.
And supporting kids who are aspiring actors. There's something sweet about that.
Yeah. We've got a few submissions here giving some love to libraries. Sonia says, our library system has a bunch of free admission or 2-for-1 passes. You check out for local attractions as well as small tools. Who needs to buy a wood router for one project? Toys and video games, as well as DVDs, CDs, and audiobooks. I have not purchased music in 15 plus years. Sarah says, events at libraries. Also, our local museum is free on Thursdays. All the metro parks and the national park near me are free. And Rachel adds, any kind of game night at a local library. They're nearly always free or less than $5 a person and can be so fun to do with a group. State parks or anywhere where you just pay per car are great too. You carpool and split the parking fee. I've done this. Like crammed as many people as we could into one car.
Hide some people in the trunk too.
Yeah.
That's what we do when we're hiding the bodies in Lake Mead.
I'm on my local library's mailing list, and so they send out emails about upcoming events. And I'm always shocked by how many events that they do. They do a lot. They do courses on podcasting. I'm like, should I show up and see what's going on? But no, I haven't
You're
done
going to be
that.
the well, actually guy in the back.
Like,
well, actually.
So I'm kind of a big deal.
You should be using the condenser microphone.
Well, speaking of jamming as many people into your car as possible, John recommends hiking, sometimes only a $5 to $10 fee, or camping if you already have all the gear. Some national park sites are free too. Those are all places too where like you pay to get in per car. So even though it might be frustrating to have to pay like, say, $7, if you go with a bunch of friends, it keeps the cost down pretty fast. So
very cool. This might be my favorite of the submissions. Nathan said, Costco, $1.50 hot dog and pop. And the pizza is like $4 a slice in Canada. Costco, baby. It's been a minute since I've done that $1.50 hot dog.
Don't they promise it'll never go up in price?
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people would riot.
Oh, definitely.
I think so too. Just
Jasmine,
like that in Arizona iced tea.
Oh, yeah. It's 99 cents for that
99
giant ass
cents.
can. Yeah.
Yep.
Jasmine says lots of museums have free days and or discounts for residents. I've been able to see most of the museums in New York City this way. That is very true. I went to school in New York, and it was like my school ID was like a VIP pass for any museum or anything that was like tangentially a museum. It's very cool.
I used to do the pay what you can at the Met all the time when I just wanted to get out and I didn't know where else to go.
That's awesome.
Love the Met.
I think nowadays you have to have a local ID for the tri-state area, but back in 2013, those were the days. Sarah S. says, mine might be location specific, but in my area, you can get a membership to Color Me Mine for $75 a year. And every Black Friday, it's 50% off. This allows you to paint without a studio fee all year and gives you extra savings on ceramics. I sometimes go to paint a couple times a month and have been for years now. I'll go alone or with a friend. It's a great activity that is fairly cheap if you use the VIP discounts well on the ceramics. I am going to look into this and see if any studios near me do this, because I feel like I would enjoy this.
I was just going to ask if you're a Color Me Mine girly. You seem like the type, Pam.
No, I mean, like, I wouldn't like turn my nose up at it, but it's not anything I generally think about.
Okay.
I did take ceramics in high school, and I enjoyed the actual art of making ceramics. But I am a craft and arts and crafts girly, so you're right. Like this, this falls in line, basically.
On a somewhat related note, I would also add, given the state of the economy, take a second look at places you've previously considered and maybe you're like, oh, they're too expensive, especially with Black Friday right now. I feel like businesses are a little more eager to get people in the door. So they're trying to lower prices or offer special deals, discounts, whatever. So take a second look. Finally, Amber said, this is a bigger ticket item, but in terms of vacations, cruises are the absolute best bang for your buck, in my opinion. And Amber, I'm so glad you brought that up because, yes, it will be part of, it will be our After Dark discussion today. So you can pledge at patreon.com/millennial to hear that discussion on cruises this week. And don't forget, we currently have an offer for the holidays. Speaking of deals, now until December 18th, you can get an annual membership to our Patreon for 20% off. That locks you into a year of content from your pals, and you'll be helping us run this show through 2026. And this offer is open to new and former patrons. And don't forget, you can gift memberships as well. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate your support. And thanks to all the pals who participated in the discussion today. We do love to hear from everybody, so feel free to email millennialshow@gmail.com if you have any feedback. You can also leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube or DM us on social, whatever is convenient for you. And if you enjoy the show, speaking of feedback, we'd love a review in your favorite podcast app. Time for some recommendations, and I want to bring up another card game, another one I brought to Orlando to introduce to the nephews. Uno Show 'em No Mercy Edition. This is a more brutal version of Uno where you can make players draw up to 10 cards or draw until they find a certain color in the deck, or you and one other player or everyone has to exchange hands. It gets messy. It gets tense. You show them no mercy. The nephews, 7 and 5 years old, loved this version, especially the draw 10 card. They thought it gave them so much power, so they were very excited to be wielding that weapon. I will say Uno lasts a lot longer with this version, but I bought it because it was getting a lot of attention on social media, and it's more stressful, but it's fun. It's a nice way to shake up the game.
I'll look into that one for the holidays. It sounds, my family loves games like that.
Oh, good.
I have a card game I want to recommend too. One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Have either of you heard of this?
No.
So there are a lot of games that are like it. It's the concept of this game is essentially there are villagers and there are werewolves. Everyone is distributed like an ID card at the start of the round. Everyone looks to see what their card says they are, whether you're a villager or you're a werewolf, and I think also like a priest, I think is part of it. But you're not allowed to reveal your identity. However, with each round at nighttime, the werewolf will kill somebody, and then all the villagers have to come back together to like argue about who they think the werewolf is.
Oh,
and
fun.
it gets really intense because you have to have kind of a good poker face, especially if you're the werewolf and you're trying to win the game. Of course, the way you win the game is you kill everyone. But there are a lot of other games like this. Like there are games that are very similar. I'm trying to think this other one. It's called The Resistance. Similar concept. Some people are spies. Some people are agents. And the spies are trying to like subvert the mission before the end of the round. So games like that are really fun. They get people very heated. And
that's always a good time.
They're like less than $25, I would say. So it's
Yeah.
a good way to get like repeat fun out of something like that.
I love games so much. There's always a new one coming out. The people are always talking about them online. It's such a nice way to have some fun without looking at a screen.
Sticking with the crafting theme that we brought up towards the end of the episode, I just wanted to recommend checking out creative reuse centers near you. These are places that people go and donate excess arts and crafts supplies, so you can get stuff for really cheap. Obviously, they might not have exactly what you want, but it's a good place to just check to see if they have something that you might need for a project, because art supplies can get pretty pricey and craft supplies can as well. They sell everything from like fabric scraps to stuff for scrapbooking, any kind of like coloring utensil you can think of, and they're really, really affordable. So yeah, especially if you have kids and stuff like that, great place to go get secondhand supplies.
Awesome. Well, that does it for this week's episode. After Dark starts in a moment for patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.